episode 31 of SOHO Insights.
Where each week we talk about the latest products, services, and trends that help your small office, home office, be more productive, efficient, and fun.
Well, you have a lot more to say than I do. Hello, I'm Kathy.
And I'm Jen, and this week's episode is all about domain names. And really fast before we get into domain names, this episode is coming out on Tuesday, which is a brand new day for us. If you go to ovaleye.tv, you'll be able to find new episodes of SOHO Insights every Tuesday. You can also search for us on iTunes by just searching SOHO Insights.
And happy July. I'm so happy that it's July because there's a lot going on in July, including my grandson's first birthday.
Yeah, it'll be really fun.
Yes.
So tonight's episode is on domain names. And the reason why we're talking about just totally domain name themed episode is because it's incredibly important when it comes to building your business online. So you're basically reserving your business name or even your personal brand online, and this could be your personal brand or your son's personal brand, like kellydonno.com. You could, basically, if you don't register it right now, another person could go ahead and register it tomorrow. You don't know what they're naming their son or what they're naming their business, so making sure that you have it before they do is really important.
Well, our son just graduated high school and he's going through the job college, going through the job applications, and it's very professional when he says, check out my website, here's my email, and his name.com, and it's all online for him. So, those kind of things are great to do and to gift.
So we're going to be going over Domain 101, how to find the domain, what happens if someone has it, how can you deal with that,
yes.
How can you register it, and maybe, this is a big one because we have a few clients that do this, if you collect domain names, and we are definitely not, we do the same thing.
We do, but if you do collect domain names, ovaleye.com will help you with that.
We'd love to help you build your collection. No, but it is kind of like, instead of collecting Barbies or anything like that, you collect domain names, and that's a hot thing to do right now. So we're going to be talking about what you can actually do with those domain names at the end. But before we really get started with this domain name 101 piece that we're talking about, this is beer and this is wine. My mother pours these when we get to do SOHO Insights, and I'm drinking Rogue beer from a wine glass. I don't know why you did that.
I'm all about wine and not about beer. So
okay.
Anyway,
Rogue beer is great. I've never had it from a wine glass, but that
gluten
works
free,
too.
so I can't have that.
Okay. So anyway,
okay.
Domains 101. What happens? Let's say that you're starting a business, or maybe even you have a personal domain name and you want a resume website off of there, or even a blog. How do you decide? The first one that we're going over is naming the domain close to your personal brand or your company's name.
It's funny, a lot of our clients are asking our opinion, and it's really, we can't give the opinion of, you should name your business so-and-so, but I will say that we used Ovaleye.com.
You chose the name Ovaleye based on the domain name availability, though.
That is correct, and it's short, and
But that happens more and more. You did this a long time ago, but today I just met with young female entrepreneurs, and this was a big discussion we had, was that you build your business name off of what is available on the .com level.
We choose Ovaleye before we named the business after we found the domain name. And it had to be short, and Ovaleye did not mean web hosting or websites at the time, but it had a lot of potential for what we were building our business on.
So you want to, let's say that that's not available. Another way that you can decide on which domain name you want to choose is by describing the company, what it is that you do.
Like fly fishing, or some kind of hobby that you're doing, you can add that in there, like Kirk's fly fishing, or all sorts of baking, 101, whatever.
So you were talking about you want it shorter rather than longer, and why is that?
Shorter, people remember. A lot of our clients have longer names, and then they kind of do another domain name to shorten it up, maybe like Castillo de Feliciana is one of the wineries with us. They made it feliciana.com or .net, I think. It just depends on how you want to present your business to people. Visit us at, and you want it kind of short.
Like you were saying with being memorable, that's the next point, keeping it memorable. And the longer that you have it, the least, or the more chance there is for messing up the domain, and also it's just cumbersome typing in really long domain names. So the last point that I wanted to add in there is to try and get the .com if it is available. If you have an iPad or an iPhone, you'll realize that when you type in an address, there's a .com. That's actually a button on there because people associate domains with .com.
Yes,
so
you have your iPad
if that's
now.
possible, do that. But yeah, that's kind of the basics with it. A lot of people are now coming to us, though, with this more advanced look at domain names, asking, how do I get my whatever the name is, like .coke or .com, that
Go
type
ahead
of a
and
thing.
tell them how much money it is.
So that's a great idea. I suggest everyone should do that if it's a top-level domain name for your name. If you have an extra $185,000, totally do it, because that's the cost of just applying for that top-level domain.
I will say that one of our best purchases was Ovaleye.tv. I really did like that name. So.
Yeah, so along with the .com, you can also register it with .co, .net, .us, all of that stuff.
Yeah, .us. There's a couple clients that have the .us.
Yeah, so as far as finding goes, so let's say that you've already decided what the name is and you've got a pretty good grasp on what it is. You're going to go to Ovaleye.com.
Don't forget, Ovaleye.com, our sponsors.
Let's pull up this screenshot. Yeah, so if you just go to the home page, you'll see a box to register it, but this is our domain registration page. You'll search for the name. So I did a search for jenniferdano.com, and I've already registered it because I'm a smart girl.
Yes, you have all your family members.
Yeah, I have all of our family.
Mine
has
too.
Our domain names. So when I when I looked for it, it said it was unavailable, which obviously I understand I have it, but at the time it was unavailable. So let's say that screenshot comes up that's unavailable. Yes. So it was unavailable. The next thing that I probably do is, this is the natural progression of what our clients usually do, is they'll go to that domain name and see who has it. Who has my most perfect domain name?
Yeah, but then something else will pop
it'll
up.
show a parked page usually.
And they get confused on this.
Yeah, so a parked page, that's when clients will usually call us and say, this person's not even using this. How can I get it? Yeah, so exactly. So what we do, or what we suggest, or sometimes we'll do it for them and let them know, and it's like magic. Oh my goodness, this is who owns my domain name, but you can do it. It's a secret of the web hosting industry.
Secret.
So what's the secret?
Who is?
Just do a who is search.
It's the easiest thing. It pops up who owns the domain.
It's public domain. Some people will do private registration, but most people just keep it public. Especially if they have a parked page like that, they're interested in selling it, or maybe even a business has closed. Other small businesses will usually keep it public too.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest way to find, to search for a domain. Obviously, if it's available, you're welcome to purchase it on Ovaleye.com.
Well, and a lot of people will say, Kathy, I want this to be my domain name, or I want this to be my business. Can you look it up real fast? So I just look it up and who is, and I tell them it's available. It's that easy. What
if someone has it? This is the next question. What if someone has it and they've contacted the person that's listed on Who Is and they're not interested in selling it, or maybe they're selling it for way more than you're interested in purchasing it for? So how do you deal with this? You have a perfect name for your business, but yet you don't want to change it because the domain name's not available.
So you just switch it around.
Yeah, so the first point is adding or subtracting a name, part of the name.
So you have an example of bakeryonmain.com?
No, you're skipping ahead to the next point.
Oh, which one am I doing?
You were saying Castillo de Feliciana.
I already did that one, though.
But you did mention it. So they had Castillo de Feliciana, and then they shortened it down to Feliciana.net.
There's a bunch of them. Ovaleye, we had Ovaleye Web Solutions. We've had Ovaleye Cloud Services. So those are all great.
You don't have to stop at just purchasing one domain for your company. You can purchase all of them.
Don't forget.
Yeah. So adding or subtracting part of the name is the first point. The second point is changing the order of words. So Carissa,
this is where I meant to say this.
So Carissa, our account manager, put together some of these examples for us. She's awesome. We just did a profile of her on our company blog at ovaleye.com/blog.
Check her out.
So she was saying bakeryonmain.com is one example, and to switch it up if that's unavailable,
Let me say
you
this
could do
part. Main Street Bakery.
Good job. So the next point that you can do if your domain name is not available is to create an acronym out of it, or really use the acronym that's in your name. We have one Ovaleye, 2-syllable, one-word names. We couldn't really do that.
No, but there's a lot of clients that have like plcs.com. And a lot of those are still available because they don't mean anything to anybody but them.
But if you want to be in the 3-letter domains, I've had multiple clients contact me and ask me, can I have this, abc.com or whatever it is? And unfortunately, the 3-letter, 3-syllable, whatever,
like
3-letter domains, they're just not available right now, and they're worth a lot of money. So the more syllables, the better, but the more syllables, the harder it is, the least memorable it is too. So you got to think about that.
Yeah, that PLCS, it's kind of people can mix those up.
Things in with it, maybe PL, and then finish it up with it. So the last point that Carissa suggested that we talk about is the description of the name using keywords in there. So
I like that. That's a very good idea too.
Yeah. So instead of Ovaleye.com, it could be the coolest web host in the United States.com.
Mother-daughter team.
Yeah, so you can get creative with that, and that's great for radio advertising or any type of in-person, offline advertising using that descriptive
marketing.
Word. Yes. Maybe registering if you have Ovaleye.com, you should register something like coolest web host in the U.S. or best mother-daughter team. You can just get creative with it. So,
I like that.
The last point that we're going to go over as far as domain names go is in registration. When you purchase a domain, this is a big thing. You have to provide them the this large directory, basically, that keeps all of these domain names in there so that it protects from spam and all sorts of fun little things.
Well, if you do the whois search, that registrar will show up. I mean, everything.
The registration,
the name, the address, the phone number,
So just realize
everything.
When you go to register a domain name, you have to include your address. And what we recommend is either to do a P.O. box or a business street address or do a private registration.
Don't do your home address.
Yeah. So the last piece is if someone is purchasing a domain name for you, make sure that...
I will say, this is this is huge.
You could go on and on about
day.
this.
Yes, every day this goes on, and I feel so horrible for my clients because they're wanting to transfer over to Ovaleye.com. And it's hard because they either had somebody else register
their designer or maybe their brother.
Which totally understand because they're setting it up for them. But it's not in their name. It's not with their email, which if you want to transfer it or do anything with that domain name, you have to have a valid email that actually is, goes
connected
to
with
somebody.
you.
So those two things are most important, the name and your email.
Well, the scariest part is that you could lose ownership rights of that. I mean, there's a lot of gray areas with that, and whether or not you want to bring some form of legal team into it. So yeah, it's just messy. Just make sure that you have all that under your information. So,
but call me if you need anything to do with transferring over.
What's our phone number?
1-800-1-877-Ovaleye.
Yeah. CEO of our company. Okay,
877 Ovaleye.
Yeah. So let's say that you've already purchased hundreds of domain names, and that is, I'm not even over exaggerating by saying hundreds of domain names. Lots of people do.
1-877 Ovaleye.
Yeah. Domain names, when you purchase them from our website, they're $12.95, or you get one free with hosting. But $12.95 a year, that's
you
nothing.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, you cannot.
And that's a name you'll keep forever.
If you're building something that's making you lots of money, or even building your reputation online, that's not very much money at all. So anyway, let's say you've already collected all these domain names. What can you do with them? We've got 3 points. The first one being putting up a site builder splash page, and this is something that I just did. I have kellydano.com, which is my son's domain name. And
my grandson.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do anything. I already manage enough blogs and enough business stuff right now. I didn't want to have to deal with it, so I just put up a splash page of kellydano.com, and then I actually added a few other pages that are in
Which
the back end that you can't access.
How many minutes did it take? I mean, of course, that was a little collage of photos, but how?
I did all of it in like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
you did
Site
it very
Builder
fast.
is something that we offer our clients for free. It's part of the Plus site, Plus Panel 10 that we give our clients for their control panel. But it was awesome. And you know, you can do that. It's great because it's optimized too. All of the metadata is in there, and it's all for search keywords and description, all that stuff that gets you found on Google. It's all really easy to fill in the form. And so why not just put a couple of pages up there?
And if you're just starting your business and you don't know what you want on there.
Yeah, see, it's just as easy as that. Fill in the form.
So it's a great little solution for a fast, quick, easy thing to do.
Yeah, so the second point is doing domain forwarding. We have a lot of clients that have multiple domains for their business that has like Ovaleye.com, Ovaleye.us, Ovaleye.info. So using a domain forwarding will at least put those domains that you've purchased into good use. So here, this is a screenshot of our control panel, again, Plus Panel 10. And you're able to choose whether or not you want to host a website on this domain or you want to just use it for domain forwarding. And so that's something you can do.
Yeah, it's very
Whether
easy.
or not it's a description of the domain or if it's another form of the top level domain.
And the last one is email. That's how my son first started with sending out his resume. He didn't have that website up yet, but he needed that his name for professional.
I know. I always
it's
laugh
pretty
when
darn cheap.
So I have this other blog site called youngfemaleentrepreneurs.com, and I get speakers, which are so very well-intended young females that are starting their businesses, but some of their email addresses will be like,
we've said this millions of times,
younggirl567 at yahoo.com
or Hotmail or AOL.
It's so inexpensive to email.
Yes.
Just have email hosting.
More and more people are figuring that out now.
Be more professional and use yourname.com.
Well, this was a fun episode, and I hope you got a lot out of it for domains.
Before we end, though, really fast, if
yeah,
you've made it all this way through the video, we want to just talk about a couple more things with Ovaleye. So
the virtual trip.
We're on a virtual road trip. I think today we're in Florida. When you get this, we're either in South Carolina or Georgia, but it's been amazing, and you can follow.
You're meeting lots of new people.
Yeah,
too.
it's insane. It's just amazing perspective to notice that there are so many businesses, so many people out there that need what you have. So you can follow us at ovaleye.com/blog on our trip, and we share things that we learn or people that we meet, things like that.
If you've also finished this video with us, I'd like you to like us on Facebook too, because that is our most interaction that we do with our clients.
We share the behind the scenes
we give fun
stuff, and we share things about clients. So that's at facebook.com/OvaleyeClub.
And we appreciate that you watch SOHO Insights. And this is Kathy and Jen at Ovaleye.com doing this at Ovaleye.tv. Thank you very much. See you next week.